I'm Andy.
And I'm Patrice.
And today we are going over the pros and cons of living in Frisco, Texas in 2021.
Yeah, we moved out here, almost 16 years ago now, and things have changed quite a bit. So it's time to update our pros and cons.
Absolutely. We are going to get after it. All right, so today's video is all about the pros and cons of living in Frisco, Texas. You've already decided, hey, I want to see what all the hoopla is about. You've seen all the, best places to raise an athlete, best places to raise a family, etc. All the awards and recognition, but not every city is perfect.
Nope.
And Frisco is no exception. So today we're going to kind of dig into it and kind of get our pros and cons. We've helped hundreds of people move here and relocate here. And we know a thing or two, and we get a lot of questions, and we have some experience in kind of going over some of the things that are concerns, as well as
what we love about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So should we get into the pros or cons first?
I'd say let's get into the pros.
All right. What is pro number one?
Pro number one probably is that Frisco is the most recession-proof city in America.
Absolutely.
I know that makes me feel better.
Yeah. Back Wallet Hub did a study comparing all the big metropolitan areas in the entire United States, and they compared, average household incomes, housing prices, etc. of today, as well as back in 2008 in the last recession, and how they kind of overcame that. Looking at jobs, all that good stuff. And Frisco came out number one. In fact, there were 3 out of the top 4 were right here in this North Texas area. So the entire area is really nice.
Yeah,
but Frisco, numero uno.
Yes, sir.
Numero uno. What is another
pro? That would be our thriving economy would probably be a good pro.
Which kind of goes hand in hand with the recession proof, right?
Does,
but
yes.
What people don't know and what people don't realize is that there are talks when Frisco is completely built out that it will have more office space than downtown Dallas. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
In fact, a lot of people joke that it's instead of DFW, it should be DFW FP for Frisco Plano, because that's just where all the growth is. It's 2 metropolitan areas that come together, and they're business minded. Their recruiting headquarters are moving out here right and left. We can't even keep up.
I know, some are sneaking in, and so it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely nuts. Every single day we're getting reports. So it's just a really cool place, and that is allowing all for expansion, not just in Frisco, but all across North Texas.
Yeah.
So really exciting times to be living here in Frisco, Texas. And what are some other pros?
Well, that our taxes are fairly low.
Taxes are real low. It's just pretty much at 2%. Well, it's 2.01. Which for Texas standards is really, really good. Especially when you factor in, everything that you get with those taxes here in Frisco. Just to give you an idea, most taxes in North Texas range anywhere from 2% on the low end, i.e. Frisco, to right around 3%, even above, north of 3%. So Frisco's got it all.
You want to give us our next pro?
Our next pro, I would say, with all that headquarters and everything coming in, there's just a lot to do, right?
Yes.
There's tons of restaurants, tons of shopping, everything that you could possibly want in every suburb. You've got Whole Foods is coming, right?
H-E-B is coming.
H-E-B is coming.
That's very exciting for people.
Apparently, that's a really big deal.
Yes,
I mean, we're not.
I can't wait. I gotta see what the hype is.
Yeah. Every time we go to Austin or Houston, we go in there, and I don't know. It's a grocery store. It's a grocery store to me, but
we haven't really explored it. I think to its full capacity.
But I'm excited.
Yes,
right?
me too.
I mean, we'll see what it's all about. That much smoke, there's got to be some fire.
I know.
You know what I mean? But yeah, with the fields coming in, the development with the PGA headquarters. You've got Legacy West, which is actually technically Plano, but like I said, it's right on that border. You've got the Star. You've got such amazing things. You got the $5 billion mile. There's just
sport you can imagine.
Yeah, we've got the Frisco Rough Riders, which is the double.
That's a fun game to go
watch. Great place to watch a ball game. Yep. They've got a swimming pool and the whole nine. But we also have SC Dallas. We are, obviously Frisco Star, headquarters of the Dallas Cowboys, also the headquarters of the Dallas Stars. We've got the Mavericks D-League here. So if sports is your thing, Frisco's got it. But there's just so much, like I said, fine dining, shopping, everything that you could possibly want. We've got it right here. You don't even have to leave the bubble of Frisco, Texas.
That is correct.
Now let's get into the last pro.
Last pro is definitely our schools. We have amazing public schools here, and just continues to grow. They keep the student to teacher ratio real low here. And I mean, the programs, the equipment, everything is just top notch.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's what is driving, and it was a big part of driving all the families here that made this the best place to raise a family, etc. Is because it's because of schools. We relocated here 15 years ago from California, and it was primarily the schools. The schools are just fantastic. Yeah. People are shocked. Our clients are so shocked in such a great way that they fall in love with everything that there is with the schools. I mean, they give you computers during the COVID and all sorts of things. I mean, it's just an incredible atmosphere.
Yeah.
And a great place to raise a family.
We had really good luck.
Yeah. But, like I said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. So, what are some cons, Patrice?
Well, it's gotten a little expensive to live here.
Yeah. Especially in the last 6 to 9 months.
Yeah. Housing prices.
Housing prices have gone absolutely. They've gone crazy everywhere, but Frisco is no exception, and the demand is so great that it really far exceeded what were normal appreciation. The average price, to should give you an idea, if you're looking for that 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 3,600 square feet, you're looking right around that $700,000 mark.
Yeah.
I mean, you can find some that are lower than that, but that's the median.
Yeah.
That's the median. So that's awfully expensive. I mean, that used to be $400,000.
I know.
So it's almost doubled here in the last few years. Yeah. So pretty insane.
I know.
What's another con, babe?
Well, when we bought, all the houses that were being built, they built with the rear entry, which looks beautiful from the front, but it cuts off half your backyard. So all those older houses, you're going to get a much smaller backyard. So I know that's a con that for some like it, but
yeah. So the real push, when Frisco was really charting its way, it was back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, like 2003. Kind of 2010 was a real big boom for Frisco. And during that time, rear entry was kind of the thing. That was the look. And with that, if you're not exactly sure, we'll show you what a rear entry versus front entry. You're talking about the driveways, or the garages, really, right? So with a rear entry, it does face an alley. There's definitely some cons to that, and what I will say is this. The backyards, like Patrice was saying, are cut off because half of that backyard is your driveway, right? That's one con. So if you really like to have a big backyard, you still can find them and all that good stuff. But for the most part, half your backyard is going to be cut off by that driveway. The second thing that we didn't realize when we moved here and got a rear entry, and we loved the look of it, but we didn't think it through. We would have done things differently, and that's why we set up this channel, right? To help you guys do things differently, learn from our mistakes. But one of the things is safety. Our kids, you keep everything in the garage, right? Your bikes and all that good stuff, and you can, kids will be kids. They'll get on their bike and kind of run down the driveway, not thinking or looking, and you've got cars. There's traffic. It's not highly there's not a lot of traffic, right? But I mean, you just never know. There, you have your fences. You can run into a blind spot, and who knows?
They're pulling out of their driveway.
Yeah, we've had some close calls. It's not like it's anything happened. I mean, most people are conscious, your neighbors and that sort of thing. Yeah. But it's just something to be aware of. And then the other thing, because it is a rear entry, it does open itself up for some stealing, right? I've had golf clubs stolen. Right? You just leave, the kid takes his bike, goes off, leaves the garage door open, and some guys can cruise in the alley. They've got a guy in the back of the bed of the truck. He sees an opportunity and jumps out, grabs the closest thing of value, and jumts back in. They take off.
But that was it. I mean, that's all we've had. So.
Yeah, I'm not saying it happens everywhere, but it does happen. So it's it's an easier thing because you're kind of blocked by the alley and not the front of the house. Yep,
exactly.
All right. What is another con?
Another con probably is that our schools, so they'll redo the zoning and the boundaries for each school, and they do that usually on a yearly basis. Sometimes it's every few years, but when they build a new school, those boundaries can change, and you may get switched, from school to school. So it depends. I mean, if you're living in a pretty established area, it's not going to happen as much, but
yeah,
it does happen.
With Frisco, it's the philosophy, right? They love to keep the school sizes, classroom sizes small, and so they build elementary schools, especially like it is like the gremlins. I mean, and so things are constantly kind of moving around and shifting as new developments come in. Now they got to put those into new elementary schools, and everything kind of gets shifted around. With that, though, I will say that yes, you are shifting schools, and it happened to us a couple of times with our kids, but you generally go with your neighborhood. So it's not as bad as it sounds, like changing schools in back in the day.
They usually be with their friends.
Yeah, they're with their friends for the most part. So it's not a huge con, but it is something that you need to be aware of. A lot of people are shocked when they've got to change schools a couple of different times. So that's probably going to happen.
You get to say the next con. I don't like saying all these cons.
Okay. All right. Well, here it is. I'll go over the last two.
Okay.
The next con is tolls. Frisco is, it's up here, right? And so if you're commuting to downtown Dallas, the best and really the only efficient way to do it is through the Dallas Tollway, and you're gonna pay, what is it, like $8 to get to downtown? So that's $16 a day. That adds up real quick.
So it is a commitment. So that word you used is probably good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it does get expensive, and it's so convenient. It splits Frisco in half. So it's just so easy to, justify getting on the toll road just to go down a couple exits down to the mall or whatever, to the Star.
He's saying that because our son does it all the time.
All the time.
Charges it on ours.
Yeah. When you're not paying for it, it's different, Yeah, he'll get off one exit, to get to his job. But that's our story. But yes, you will have tolls. If you live in Frisco, you will use that tollway. So that's something that you need to factor in. $40, $80 a month for the most people if you're not commuting into downtown is probably sufficient, but it is something that you need to be aware of. Now, Patrice, we are going to get into the last con.
Okay.
And it has to do with real estate, right? And it's not the prices or anything like that, but it's the boutique community, right? We don't have any big splash master plan community like Windsong Ranch or Mustang Lakes or Cambridge Crossing or anything like that. The closest thing we have is the Grove, which is a nice development.
It's beautiful, yeah.
But because the boom in Frisco, there's no even rumblings, right? There's no rumblings of just this huge, lagoon-like community or anything going on in Frisco. So it's more of your garden variety, but community pool, maybe amenity center, that sort of thing. So it's kind of bland as far as that is concerned. But what are you gonna
Not
do?
everybody wants one of those big, huge communities,
No.
so it works out good.
Yeah. Someone's pro or someone's con could be someone's pro, right? So, and vice versa. So that's just what it is. It's just, I would love to see a big, huge master plan community in Frisco. It'd be exciting.
Too, yeah.
We do have the fields that are coming up, and I'll be curious to see what they do with that. But I feel like the dirt is so expensive here in Frisco that they don't waste it on lagoons and huge amenities. So they're stacking houses.
With golf courses there and stuff, that's taking up most of the room.
So that's just kind of how it is.
Yep.
And again, we've lived here for 15 years. We've helped hundreds of people move here. If that is something that you are interested in, make sure you give us a call, text, or email, however it is that you want to get a hold of us. And until the next time, I'm Andy.
And I'm Patrice.
Take care.